In a quiet town nestled between the hills and the sky lived a little boy named Henry. Henry loved the stars. Every night, he would climb into bed, pull up his soft blanket, and look out the big round window above his bed. There, twinkling like tiny lanterns, were his friends, the stars. He had names for them: Shiny, Twinkle-Trot, Big Blinky, and his favorite, Sparkle, the star that always seemed to wink at him. One evening, just as Henry was about to fall asleep, he noticed something strange. Sparkle was gone. He rubbed his eyes. No Sparkle. He sat up in bed. "Maybe it's hiding behind a cloud," he whispered. But the sky was clear. Henry frowned. Where could Sparkle have gone? Then, he heard something very faint. A tingle, like the sound of wind chimes in the distance. It came from the window. Henry leaned closer, and suddenly, whoosh! A soft golden light burst into the room. Floating gently through the window was a glowing, twinkling something, no bigger than a button, but brighter than a lantern. "Sparkle?" Henry whispered. The little light bobbed in the air and gave a tiny swirl, as if to say yes. "You fell from the sky." Henry gasped. "Are you hurt?" Sparkle glowed softly, then dimmed. "You're tired," said Henry. "Don't worry. I'll help you get back home." Chapter 2: The Nighttime Journey. Henry gently placed Sparkle in a glass jar with tiny air holes and lined the bottom with his softest sock. It wasn't a star bed, but it was cozy. The next morning, Henry had a plan. "We need to get you back to the sky," he told Sparkle. But how? He tried everything. A helium balloon. Sparkle floated halfway, then drifted back down. A paper airplane. It looped in circles and landed in the rose bushes. A kite. Too windy. Then Henry had an idea. "I need help from someone who knows the sky." So, he packed a snack, zipped up his jacket, and tucked Sparkle's jar into his backpack. They were going to visit Grandpa Ned, who used to be an astronomer. Grandpa Ned lived on top of Starberry Hill and had a big telescope in his backyard. When Henry arrived, Grandpa was sipping tea and watching the clouds. "Aha! My favorite stargazer," he said. "What brings you here, lad?" Henry opened his backpack and showed him the jar. "I think a star fell into my room." Grandpa Ned leaned close. "Well, I'll be. That's a lost star if I ever saw one." Sparkle blinked slowly. "Can we send it back?" Henry asked. Grandpa smiled. "We can try." Chapter 3: The Ladder to the Sky. That evening, Grandpa and Henry built something magical. They called it the Staircase of Wishes, a tower made of old wooden ladders, ropes, buckets, pillows, and silver spoons to catch moonlight. At the very top, they placed an old satellite dish wrapped in fairy lights and glitter. "We'll climb tonight," Grandpa said. "When the moon is highest and the stars are listening." As the clock struck 9, Henry put on his favorite star pajamas, grabbed the jar, and followed Grandpa up the ladder. Up and up they climbed, past the apple trees, past the rooftops, past the weather vane that always squeaked in the wind. When they reached the top, the stars looked closer than ever. Henry opened the jar. Sparkle floated out and hovered in the air. "Home is up there," Henry said softly. "But if you don't want to go, you can stay with me forever." Sparkle twinkled, brighter than before. Then, gently, it floated up. 1 loop. 2 spins. And then, zip! It shot into the sky like a tiny firework. Henry watched as Sparkle rejoined the other stars, and right before disappearing into the sky, it gave one last wink. Chapter 4: The New Sky. That night, Henry lay in bed, smiling at the sky. Sparkle was back where it belonged, next to Big Blinky and Twinkle Trot. But something was different. Right above Henry's window, the stars had formed a brand new shape, a tiny boy holding a glowing jar. "Is that me?" Henry whispered. Just then, Sparkle blinked. Yes. From that night on, Sparkle always shone a little brighter, as if it remembered the boy who caught a fallen star, and gave it the courage to go home. And every time Henry looked up, he knew one thing for sure. Even the tiniest star can find its way back, with a little help from a big heart.